Smoking weed in your late teen years or early 20s is very, very different from smoking weed in your 30s, 40s, 50s, or sometime beyond that. And if you're in your 30s, your 40s, or your 50s, and you're trying to quit smoking weed and you're struggling, I think this video is going to help you out. So bear with me throughout the course of it. When I was younger, the first time I smoked weed, I was like 22, 23 years old. And at that time, I was still in college. I was completing my degree. I have a doctorate in chiropractic care. And while I was in college, I'll be honest, I did not have a lot of responsibilities. My family has been fairly well off financially throughout life. I just had to, rent an apartment with my friends, had to show up to class and get good grades, which eventually I managed to screw all that up. Nonetheless, I digress. My life was not very stressful. My main concern was I got to do well on this test, and then I got to get to the bar Thursday through Saturday night. Occasionally, I'd throw in a ladies' night on a Sundays or something like that too. So when I first started smoking at 22, 23 years old, I remember the first time I smoked. It was a blast. I remember coming back one night after the bars. My buddy was rolling up a blunt, and I had never smoked before. And I was just chugging on this blunt. Like we were just ripping this thing down. And I just remember laughing so hard. A lot of people say when they smoke their first time, they don't really feel it. Like I felt it. And I had a great time. I don't know to date if I've ever laughed as hard as I did that first time I was smoking weed with my friends. It was a great time. And then there were several other times after that time that were a lot of fun, whether it was with friends, with a group of girls. It was just, I had a blast during that phase in time. Now, as I started to get older, though, my life circumstances started to change. And the change in circumstances also started to change my relationship with weed. And I think lack of acknowledgement that my relationship with cannabis or with weed was changing was one of the things that made it so hard to quit as I got older. So fast forward through college, here I am, I've graduated, got decent grades. I bought into a business, right? So I started a business with a buddy of mine, and here I am. I'm smoking weed a lot at night, just trying to get the ball rolling with my life. And I'm not doing so well. I'm financially, I'm not doing great. I didn't have like horrible debt. I was fortunate, but I'm not doing great financially, physically and mentally. From a mental health and physical health standpoint, definitely could have been doing a lot better. I'm working like 4 or 5 different jobs just to try and pay the bills and get by at this point, including in my own business. I was doing personal training. I was doing, opening up a chiropractic office. I was working at Vitamin Shop, selling supplements. And then I had some other side gigs that I was doing too. And here I was smoking weed up to about the age of 27, 28 years old. And I was trying so desperately to recapture those past times that I had in college, to recapture those good times. I was trying to recreate those times with my buddies and my friends and stuff like that, where I was laughing so hard and having so much fun. But my current reality was very different from those times, right? I was no longer living in an apartment with my friends at the age of 23 years old. I was a grown adult living at home with his family because he couldn't afford an apartment, because he couldn't afford a house. I wasn't in a great state of mind mentally. I wasn't terrible, but I was definitely depressed, definitely had a lot of anxiety. And I just wanted so bad to recapture those past times. And for some reason, I think weed, I thought it was going to do that for me. Every time I'd smoke, I'd hope like, man, maybe I'm going to get that amount of laughter back again. Maybe I'm going to get that connection back again with weed. And it never came. The relationship with weed just got worse and worse and worse and worse. And it wasn't until I started to acknowledge and let go of those past experiences that I had with weed and acknowledge that now my life was headed in a different direction. You're a business owner, Frank. You're a guy who's looking to be in a good, healthy relationship with someone that you can get married to. You want to have financial stability. You want to have your own apartment. You want to have your own house, because those are the things now, at least in my life, that were going to bring me joy and that were going to bring me happiness and that were going to bring me those good feelings that I once had before. And it wasn't until I acknowledged that weed was a problem and not a solution to my problems, and that I had to let go of my past experiences with it, that I could successfully quit. Let me know if that makes any sense to you guys. If there's anyone in here who's a little bit older, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, who's watching this, are you holding on to past times? And is it time that you let go and acknowledge that your life circumstances and your life situations are creating a different type of relationship between you and cannabis, and you maybe have to let go of that past relationship that you had with it? My second piece of advice to people, and this is a little off topic, would be is don't compare yourself to others. You know, here I was 28 years old. A lot of my friends, they're getting married. Some of them are having kids. Some of them are on to buying rental properties, let alone just a house, life insurance plans, savings accounts, retirement accounts, investments. I had none of that. And I was really caught up in comparing to where I was at in life to other people. And it was really depressing. It was so hurtful, and it caused a lot of anxiety. And then because of that anxiety and depression, because I had an addiction, I thought the weed was going to make me feel better. I thought the weed was going to help, but the weed would just then hold me back even farther. And it wasn't just the weed. There was other things too, but it would not help. And then I'd get more anxiety, more depression. So I'd be like, oh, I got to smoke more to help with the anxiety and the depression. But I was stuck in that cycle. And what I really had to do to stop that cycle was stop comparing myself to others. Addiction, your journey with addiction, how you're going to progress in life that's a very unique experience to you. So whether you're 40, 50, 60, 23, 19 years old watching this, don't compare yourself to others. It's not going to create good feelings. Get off Facebook, get off TikTok, get off Instagram. Stop comparing yourself to other people. Because I got good news for you. Once I did quit, once I started to build my life back up, damn, I used that addiction mindset mentality, that obsession, that drive, that grit, that high level of energy. And I'll tell you guys, I think I'm moving 5 times faster than most of the people that I used to envy in life. And not only do I think I'm catching up, I think I'm going to be exceeding a lot of these people that I used to envy within the next few short years. All the things I fell behind on, retirement, investments, relationships, all these things I wanted out of life, not only am I reclaiming those, but I'm reclaiming them at a really, really rapid rate. And I think anyone who's gone through addiction, who's put in that amount of grit, that amount of effort, that amount of drive into something, even if that something was addiction, something destructive, I think you can apply all those things to that next category of your life, that next chapter. And I think it's going to be like boom, 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 boom. Again, it does take time. Don't get me wrong. I don't want you to get tied up and think like, oh my God, why isn't my life better? I quit smoking weed. You know, look, I'm only, 3-4 years into this whole process of quitting. So it takes time. Don't get me wrong. But I think you get my point. If you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and you're still smoking, let go of your past relationship with weed. Stop trying to recreate those old times. These are new times now, and there's new things in life that you want, that you need, that you desire. Focus on those. And more importantly, stop comparing yourself to others. If you're really struggling and you have fallen behind, stop comparing yourself to others. Stay tuned to the channel, guys. Next week, I'm going to make a video directed towards people who are in a role where they're doing well, maybe entrepreneurs, business owners who are smoking weed and everything is going great in their life, but they just can't seem to quit. I'm going to make a video for you guys next week, so be sure to stay tuned to the channel. I'll see you then.